Chapter 1919 Inspection. Fatty Sue came up to Zhang Yi with a blush on his face, looking like a fat otaku, which was really infuriating. "What's wrong with you?" Zhang Yi asked unhappily. Fatty Sue laughed and said, "Lauda, I'd like to trouble you with something. A young person has come from Xinjiang, and they want to make her a diplomat to facilitate communication between the two sides in the future." You see. As soon as the word "you" was used, Zhang Yi felt that things were not simple. But Fatty Sue was so easy to guess, his thoughts were written all over his face. It goes without saying that the person must be that little Nan Liang. As the saying goes, when a man gets horny, women have no chance at all. Even Zhang Yi had to admit that Li Yangyang was indeed pretty and had a charm that ordinary women did not have. Of course, he is a very straight man, and he thinks this kind of role can be admired from a distance but not touched. But who is Su Chunlei? A veteran of the ACE-G world, he has been deeply involved in otaku culture for 30 years. He has played through the 12 divine artifacts and 12 magical artifacts dozens of times, and is also well versed in various feudal cultures. So, relatively speaking, the difficulty of acceptance is very low. Fatty Sue looked at Zhang Yi with hope. He felt that this matter was not a big problem. After all, Zhang Yi had suggested bringing Li Yangyang over before, but Fatty Sue was just embarrassed at that time. So it must not be difficult to get people over now. However, Zhang Yi did not think so. "It's different for me to take the initiative to ask for it than for you to send the person over here specially." He narrowed his eyes, pondering the other party's intentions. The conversation with Ho Tu was not pleasant. Xinjiang district was eager to reach in-depth cooperation with Zhang Yi because it saw Zhang Yi's value. He is becoming more and more powerful and has a powerful inhuman army that is not under the jurisdiction of other regions. On the other hand, it was difficult for Ho Tu of Xinjiang to leave her homeland and act abroad. Therefore, if we can establish a good relationship with Zhang Yi, it will be of great significance to the Xinjiang region. On the other hand, Xinjiang district would definitely want to find out the secrets about Zhang Yi from his mouth. Zhang Yi was not a madman, and Meng Yuanju knew that Zhang Yi would not kill the person he sent. But sending Li Yangyang here gives him a chance to do some pillow talk. If a conflict really breaks out between the two sides, they can also mediate. They only lost a senior Delta officer, but the gains were huge, so it was not a loss no matter how you counted it. Zhang Yi did not directly answer whether Fatty Sue could do it or not. He just glanced at the fat man who had been with him for 3 years, smiled and asked, "What do you think?" Fat Sue was stunned for a moment, smiled silly, and shook his head. "Of course I am. Hee Lauda." But then he said seriously, "But as long as you don't nod, I won't allow her to come." Zhang Yi asked with a smile, "Do you like her very much?" There is some bad taste in Zhang Yi's work because he is a straight man and really can't understand this kind of hobby. Fatty Sue felt a little unhappy when Zhang Yi looked at him. "Lauda, why are you looking at me with perverted eyes? If she likes me, that's for sure. Even for someone like me, I can probably figure out how she feels about me after spending time with her day by day." One's worldview is determined by his facial features. As long as Li Yangyang has such a beautiful appearance and a unique personality, she can make Fatty Sue fall in love with her even if they can only have spiritual communication. Zhang Yi had no doubt about this. Fatty Sue's appearance may be considered as a stunningly handsome man in the eyes of some special groups. If in Li Yangyang's eyes, he is probably Wu Yanzu. Zhang Yi nodded. "Since you have thought it through, let her come over. But let me make it clear first. She can only live in the second-floor area of Tianhai Fortress. No matter what she says, when she comes, let Yang Xinxin shoot her with an arrow first." If she really had ill intentions, Zhang Yi narrowed his eyes and sneered in his heart. Naturally, he had plenty of ways to make Fatty Sue see through her true nature and then let Fatty Sue get rid of her personally. But if she was sincere, Zhang Yi would sincerely wish Fatty Sue to find happiness. Zhang Yi agreed so readily that Fatty Sue was so excited that he wanted to fly over, hug his thighs, and cry with joy, but Zhang Yi predicted his move and kicked him away. "Sorry, now and in the future, please keep a certain distance from me. It's best not to have any physical contact." Zhang Yi brushed off the non-existent dust on his body. Perhaps what he brushed away was not the dust, but the smell of the address book. We must take precautions before it happens, lest this kid is really turned gay by Li Yongyang and then endanger others. Fatty Su looked aggrieved and nodded with tears in his eyes. But soon, he got up happily and sent the good news to Li Yongyang. Seeing this, Zhang Yi suddenly had a strange idea in his mind. Well, Fatty, have you ever considered letting her have an operation? That way, your two problems will be easily solved. Fatty Su took the time to glance at Zhang Yi, his eyes full of smugness. It seems to be saying, it's true that popular people are just popular people, they don't know anything. Zhang Yi was furious. Damn, I was actually looked down upon by a otaku. Just explain it to me clearly. Zhang Yi pretended to hit him. Fatty Su shrank his neck. No, isn't it okay for me to say it? Well, Lauda, you have to understand that beautiful women are all the same, but the beautiful Nanliang is hard to find in the world. The expression on Zhang Yi's face twisted. Oh, I really don't understand. Get away from me. Zhang Yi pushed Fatty Su away to avoid being contaminated by gay spirit. Fat Su hummed a song happily, went back to change his clothes, and waited for Li Yongyang to arrive. Zhang Yi and his team will set off for the Sahara Desert tomorrow, so that night, an F-37 will fly directly from Shengjing City to Tianhai City. The plane landed near Tianhai Fortress. Today, a large city has been formed around Tianhai Fortress. The area is not very large, with a radius of no more than 10 kilometers. With Tianhai Fortress as the center, tens of thousands of people living here have built a town. Zhang Yi was sitting in the garden and called Yang Xinxin over. A mere Li Yongyang is not worthy of him going to greet her in person. After Yang Xinxin came over, Zhang Yi said, Shengjing has sent someone here. It's Nan Liang who has bewitched Fatty. Bring her over later and shoot her with an arrow. Remember to carry Fatty Su on your back and give him some face. If the other party really wants to use him, it will save his heart from being broken. Yang Xinxin sat next to Zhang Yi. Undercover? Meng Yuanjun and Ho Tu shouldn't be that stupid. Zhang Yi chuckled. The most murderous wind in the world is the pillow talk. No matter what her purpose is, you will know as long as you torture her. Even a well-trained agent cannot withstand Yang Xinxin's arrow, because that is a change in cognitive ability, not a simple technique like hypnosis. When Zhang Yi said this, he glanced at Fatty Su not far away, wearing a set of clothes he had never seen before and running out happily. It seemed to be a set of Zelda co-branded clothing, which looked festive but a little childish. Fatty Su also combed his hair like an adult and used at least 5 kilograms of hair wax. It was already quite greasy, and now it's even greasy. Yang Xinxin also sighed. Yeah, how could anyone like this guy? Not long after, the man and woman who liked this guy were brought over by Fatty Su. As usual, I have to meet Zhang Yi first. When Li Yongyang saw Zhang Yi, a graceful smile appeared on his face. He nodded and saluted. Lieutenant Colonel Long Mingwei, Bluebird, Li Yongyang meets His Excellency Hundun. Zhang Yi nodded and asked with a smile, The people above must have asked you to bring a message when you came here this time, right? He looked at Fatty Su. Tianping, please step aside first. We have important military matters to discuss. Fatty Su nodded repeatedly. Oh, okay. He was indeed very easy to fool. He believed whatever Zhang Yi said, so he hurried back. Li Yongyang looked at Zhang Yi and opened her mouth to say something. Zhang Yi raised his hand to stop her. Wait a moment. The next moment, a black smoke rose up beside Zhang Yi and turned into a huge dark cloud. Under the dark cloud, a tattered and stitched angel appeared. Its eyes were covered with a black cloth, and its mouth was open, looking as if it was howling in pain, but the muscles in its arms were bulging high and the tough muscle fibers were clearly visible. The huge angel bow was opened, aimed at Li Yongyang, and an arrow shot towards her. Li Yongyang opened her eyes wide, and the arrow shot directly into her chest. I deliberately slowed down. She could have avoided it. Yang Xinxin said lightly. There's no point in avoiding her. She's very smart. Zhang Yi crossed his legs and looked at Li Yongyang in front of him with indifferent eyes. Tell me, what is your purpose of coming here? Li Yongyang stood in front of Zhang Yi and Yang Xinxin with a smile and said, I want to be closer to Chunlei. She sighed. Shenyang is a very boring place. When it comes to cold, I don't mean the cold weather, but the indifference of people. In that city, no one can understand me. When she said this, a look of loneliness appeared in her eyes. Especially every time I go to the bathhouse, I have to endure other people's cold eyes and criticisms. I want to go to the men's bathhouse, but they don't want to. I want to go to the women's bathhouse, but some people say I'm a hooligan. I'm really fed up with this kind of life. Zhang Yi nodded, but then waved his hands again and again. Well, we don't care about issues related to lifestyle here. I just want to ask, what is your purpose in coming here? Besides Su Chunlei, is there any other reason? Li Yongyang blinked. I'm a soldier. My superiors asked me to come, so I came. Okay, let me ask you simply. Did they assign you any tasks before you came? Li Yongyang nodded very frankly. The main task is to get closer to the Chaos Team, establish a deep friendship with you, and then speak well of the Shengjing district to eliminate the barriers between you two sides. Zhang Yi stared at Li Yongyang, but she kept her mouth shut. Zhang Yi. Li Yongyang. Question mark. Zhang Yi. What else? Li Yongyang. Ah? What else? Zhang Yi sneered. Don't they have any other instructions? No. Zhang Yi frowned deeply. Didn't they ask you to find out the secrets of us and then teleport us to Shengjing? Li Yongyang shook her head. No. They may have other arrangements. But these are the only orders I received. Moreover, from the perspective of an elite Longming guard, sending me undercover is extremely unwise. First, the target is too clear and extremely easy to be exposed. I was sent here from Shengjing, which will definitely attract the attention of you and those around you. Second, Tianhai City's intelligence network is at the world's top level. If I want to transmit intelligence back to Shengjing, it is almost impossible to avoid your eyes. If they really want to find out about Tianhai City, the best way is to find an inconspicuous person to perform the undercover mission. Zhang Yi sat up straight and looked at Yang Xinxin. Xinxin, what do you think? Yang Xinxin said, what she said is true. With my ability, she can't lie. Ling, such an existence is already at a godlike level, and Yang Xinxin's ability cannot break through her mental barrier. But Li Yongyang was just not able to resist her arrows. But is this the only purpose of doing this? Zhang Yi felt it was a bit outrageous. However, Yang Xinxin said lightly, like the wind sneaking into the night, moistening things silently. Silent infiltration is the highest level of practice. The Shengjing district's approach this time can be understood as a gesture of goodwill. Zhang Yi said disapprovingly, cooperation is possible, but there is a basis for cooperation only when both sides benefit. So far, they can't provide me with much help. And what I want most is information about the Qinling Dragon Clan. He raised the corner of his mouth. They will never share this with me, right? Zhang Yi stared at Li Yongyang. Brother and sister, don't you think so? Li Yongyang shook her head. At my level, I can't access that level of intelligence. Yang Xinxin then asked, if you want to contact Shengjing District, what methods are there? It is necessary to rule out the possibility that the other party has been specially designed to avoid questioning. For example, the Shengjing District did not let Li Yongyang steal intelligence, but would use other means to pass on important intelligence from Zhang Yi's team. For example, ask about Zhang Yi's eating habits and inquire about their water, food, and supplies. Then it will be handed over to a middleman, who will pass it back to Shengjing. After thinking for a while, Li Yongyang replied, if you want to contact, just use the communication equipment. She smiled and said, but here, all the information can't bypass your intelligence network, right? The legendary military advisor of Tianhai City, Queen Mother of the West, Miss Yang Xinxin. After the Battle of Chernobyl, Yang Xinxin finally appeared in front of the world, letting people know how powerful she was. Especially the layout of the last level, which is better to lose a piece than to lose the initiative, is even more amazing. This made her emerge from years of hiding. The hidden dragon is not in the abyss, but in the field. Therefore, she was officially given the official mythological code name, Queen Mother of the West. Yang Xinxin's computer technology is absolutely top-notch in the world today. Indeed, no one can break through the Tianhai City information network that she built. What's more, she has a mechanical genius, Liu Karen, to help her, and she is completely ahead of the world in hardware systems. Yang Xinxin continued to ask whether Li Yangyang would pass on information to the outside world through other means, but it turned out that there was no such thing. After some confirmation, Zhang Yi was convinced that Li Yangyang did not come here as an undercover agent. Meng Yuanjun and Ho Tu are not stupid, and they would not be so blatant in placing undercover agents. It's more about closeness and flattery. So, the purpose of Li Yangyang coming here is actually... Yang Xinxin looked at Zhang Yi, and they said in unison, marriage. It sounds funny, but it is indeed the truth. Zhang Yi stood up from the chair and said lightly, if that's the case, then stay. Yang Xinxin nodded. Of course. When she said this, she slowly raised her right hand, and the angel's arm overlapped with her right hand, pointing in the air. Then, golden stars shone between her fingers, and she began to write in the air. If you do anything to betray Zhang Yi and his team, your life will end if you have the thought but have not put it into action. A line of golden words appeared in the air and then turned into a golden arrow. She placed the arrow on the bow of judgment, pulled the bowstring with her own hands, and aimed at Li Yangyang. This is one of my abilities, the arrow of the ruler, which will plant rules in you. It will accompany you throughout your life and become the first commandment in your life. Once you violate it, the outcome will be just as written in the book, and it will take your life. Li Yangyang's expression showed a moment of hesitation. After all, no one can guarantee what will happen in the future. Soon, however, her expression relaxed, because she knew very well that she had no right to refuse. The arrow shot directly into her heart, but Li Yangyang didn't feel anything. Yang Xinxin put away the materialized body of the fallen angel puppet, raised her finger lightly, pointed at her, and said, you can try it now, and generate murderous thoughts towards me and brother Zhang Yi in your heart. See if my ability is fake. Li Yangyang thought about it and decided to do as Yang Xinxin said, but she didn't dare to be too bold, and just had some bad fantasies. The next moment, her pupils suddenly contracted and her breathing became slightly rapid. She quickly covered her chest, because just now, she felt as if her heart was being tightly grasped by a big hand, almost crushing her heart. Above her heart, an invisible chain had bound her life tightly. This is the power of the oath. Moreover, it will accompany Li Yangyang throughout her life unless Yang Xinxin solves it personally. Yang Xinxin's voice came without any emotion. By the way, let me tell you, even if I die, it can't be lifted. It will even strengthen the strength of my mental power, making the restraint even stronger. I understand. Li Yangyang calmed her breathing and a smile appeared on her face. I really hope to join you and will not do anything to let you down. Only after making such an assurance did Zhang Yi feel completely relieved. He really needed a communication channel with the Xinjiang region. However, it is not his character to do things passively. Zhang Yi looked at Li Yangyang with a smile. Now remember, you are already one of ours. Then I want to ask you, if I want to break into the Xinjiang region and obtain their confidential information, what should I do? This is Zhang Yi, who will think about getting benefits once he gets the chance. He was afraid that someone might be spying on his information and immediately wanted to play a counter-espionage tactic. Li Yangyang's smile was awkward but polite. This should be a bit difficult. After all, only a few people know the intelligence of the core circle. Even the extraordinary people who are carrying out the mission cannot grasp the complete intelligence chain. If you want to reach them, you must at least get the top few among the 36 heavenly generals or the newly formed 12 zodiac signs. However, it may not be completely impossible. She looked at Yang Xinxin. Miss Yang's ability is still shrouded in a strong mystery to the Xinjiang region. If she can control a person for a long time, then there is a chance to attack the senior leaders of Longming Guard. The senior leaders of Longming Guard? Zhang Yi rubbed his chin, the light in his eyes getting brighter and brighter. Yeah, why haven't I thought of this? They have been hiding things from me all day long. It's time to give them some tricks. He turned to Yang Xinxin and said, "Next time let's call out Shang Dawen and shoot him with an arrow. Xinxin, can you completely turn him into a slave under your control?" Yang Xinxin said calmly, "Defeat him first, and then let me shoot him with an arrow. Short-term control will not be a problem. However, he will regain his sanity sooner or later, and then it will be difficult to explain to us and the Xinjiang region. The more powerful the alien is, the more difficult it is to control him, and the shorter the control time. Because according to the theory of supernatural powers come from spiritual essence and telekinesis. Therefore, the more powerful the alien is, the stronger his telekinesis will be, and the less he will be affected by the rules of the outside world." Is that so? Zhang Yi touched his chin. This matter was indeed not that easy to handle. He glanced at Li Yangyang, put on a kind expression, and said with a smile, "Okay, we are all brothers and sisters from now on. I'll ask Fatty Sue to arrange accommodation for you later." He called Fatty Sue on the communication device, and the guy quickly ran over in a hurry. "Boss, are you done talking?" Fatty Sue smiled, but his eyes kept glancing towards Li Yangyang from time to time. Fatty Sue is no fool, and he quickly realized that Zhang Yi was trying to test Li Yangyang, and he couldn't help feeling a little nervous. Seeing that Li Yangyang was fine, I breathed a sigh of relief. Zhang Yi said, "From now on we are all family. Go and arrange a room for you to live in." As he said that, Zhang Yi opened his own alien space, took out a whole set of furniture from the huge warehouse, and threw it on the ground. Among them was a very large and soft bed. Don't say that I don't take care of you. These are all top-quality furniture, especially this bed, which is very durable. Dear viewers, thanks for staying with me. We'll try to get you more updates. Please like and subscribe and share the video with your friends. Love you all.